We are back with another episode of Upfront with Jeff Coleman here at the Coleman compound. Let's kick this thing off. All right, Jeff, here we go with another episode. I'm sitting at the table here with the namesake of the podcast, Representative Jeff Coleman.
Hey, guys.
Oh, hold on.
Wow, that was hurtful.
That was. I'm sorry. I need to
turn
turn you
very
up.
Hurtful. I can't believe you played music over our awesome background music, the cicadas.
Well, you know, we got to drown them out somehow.
Holy cow, they are loud, aren't they?
They are loud this year.
So, really glad to have everybody here tonight. We got a special guest tonight.
We do. Rusty Shackelford.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Hey,
talking
guys.
about.
So, sitting at the table with us, let's go around. We have the Greg Moody.
What's up, guys?
We have Rusty Shackelford over here.
Friends.
And the Dakota Worrell.
What's up?
All right, guys. So a lot has happened recently here. In the last 2 weeks, we have seen the governor sign a few bills. We also have the new maps coming out from President Trump for this congressional district. I can't wait to dive into that. We have a whole lot of topics we're going to be talking about, as always. We're going to try to keep this one short because I know the last time it was a little long.
Well, it was our first one in 2 years. We had a lot to talk about.
We sure did. So, Jeff, let's talk about these congressional maps. The president put in front of Governor Kehoe. Governor Kehoe has come out and announced a special session, and Trump said on his Truth Social that he's wanting Governor Kehoe to keep the maps the same, the legislature to keep the maps the same, pass it as is. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Well, I've seen the maps now, finally, because we went a long time. Oh, there's our friends. Sorry about that in the background.
So Jeff has about 6 geese.
They have
It's
a lot to
Jurassic
say
Park out here.
So, we had a ton of different maps, and it was interesting to see everybody's discussion on that. And I thought for sure that it was going to be different than the maps that we were seeing, and sure enough, it is. There is some maps that kind of look like what the Trump map is. Oh, that's much better, Chris. Thank you. But the map looks really good, I think. I think it's one of which people's worry about what the future is going to hold and us losing some seats. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they've done a really good job of putting this map together, and it's going to give us the 7-1 that we've been looking for a long time. You know, I'm a member of the Freedom Caucus, and the Freedom Caucus has been looking to do this since back in 2020 when we originally did the lines, and we didn't get the support on it. So it's good to have it back now and moving forward in the right direction.
Why did we not get the support we needed to have that map that we currently have? Because I know we've all been trying to push for it from the grassroots and them coming to tell you down at the Capitol we should push this map. Missouri is a ruby red state. This is where we need to be at.
That's my opinion. We don't get a lot of representation, especially out in eastern Jackson County. Kansas City gets all that attention, and eastern Jackson County is actually bigger than Kansas City now. And so when you have Emmanuel Cleaver representing out that direction, out into independence now, it just isn't right. We need to get that back and have it where we're getting the representation for all the people and not just the Kansas City area.
You know, we see some of these blue states now that are wanting to go to gerrymander their own map, especially California. I don't know if you guys have heard, Greg is from California. That's right.
Closely guarded secret. That's right.
So, Greg, when you hear something like that, states like California and Illinois are wanting to gerrymander more of
They were already gerrymandering.
Well, yeah. What's your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on this is Democrats have been doing this for decades. I mean, you can already look at the map of Illinois, and it just like snakes through everywhere. California, well, I mean, it's like about 40% Republican, high 30s, and I think they have it's 5 congressional seats. So they've been trying to keep Republicans out of it for decades. Republicans are just essentially doing the same now same thing now that Democrats have been doing for quite a while.
What about the statewide results in blue states, even where the results are close to 50-50? It's not like it's 80-20. You states like even Maine that have I think no Republican congressman. They're during a presidential election or a national election, they have like a 50-50 split Democrat-Republican breakdown, but they don't get not even one Republican representative. I mean, that is indicative of gerrymandering, and that does drown out the voices of people in the rural areas, people who aren't in the inner cities of blue states. They're doing it on purpose. They know they're doing it on purpose. It's not cool when we do it. It's cool when they do it, and it's super fine and good. But when anyone else does it, it's like evil and it's Hitler 2.0.
Well, sorry about that, Greg. The thing is, you've got California threatening to come out and do more of the gerrymandering. You have some of the other blue states trying to do the same thing. But you know what? I'm not too concerned because they've already done it. There's nothing more that they can do to try to get more Democrats on board. Now, the red states, we've been taking the high road for so long, and quite frankly, I'm tired of it. So I'm glad we're doing what we're doing, and I'm glad that Trump is behind this, and I love the map that he did. And we have a lot to gain. The Democrats do not.
To your point, Jeff. Sorry, Greg, but to your point about there's nothing more that they can do that they haven't already done. The Democrats, including political violence and terrorism, burning cities down, assassinating political officials, threatening people. I mean, there's nothing the Democrats can do that they haven't already done.
Wait. It's the party of tolerance. What are you talking about?
Compassion and tolerance, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Greg, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I always find it amusing. It only becomes, right, Democrats have been doing this for decades now, and now you're hearing about it in the media when Republicans start to try and do it. And it only becomes an issue when Republicans are doing this now, too, and it's evil and it's awful. And, Democrats have been doing this for a while.
You're taking away the will of the people.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, wait. They already did that.
The will of the people means anything that Democrats like.
That's right.
That's what the will of the people means to them.
So, we've noticed that on your Facebook page. When it was shared that President Trump is wanting to do this in Missouri and Governor Kehoe announced everything, you have Democrats coming out the woodwork talking, what's virtue signaling about this. Well, understand also that, like we've been talking about, Democrats have been doing this for years. For years this has been happening. But it's just now a problem because Republicans are doing it instead of them. President Trump has brought a backbone to the Republican Party that we haven't seen for years. And I'm glad that he is doing it now. We're actually stepping up. Republicans are stepping up. They're able to get things done now. We're seeing these maps work. Texas just passed theirs, or they're about to pass them or something. Your geese are wanting to get on this podcast so bad. They have a lot to say.
They do.
You know something? This isn't about gerrymandering. This is about righting a wrong. The Democrats have stolen elections. They have drawn incorrect maps that don't reflect the will of the people or representation. They have engaged in all manner of election meddling in order to get their way. They've done heinous things. This is about President Trump righting a wrong, redoing the census where people were counted that don't belong in this country, who are illegal. They were counted in the census to overcount and overestimate the Democrat state numbers to give them more congressional seats and to undercount Republican states to give them less congressional seats. All this is the redrawing of the districts and the redoing of the census is righting a generational wrong, and the only president who is capable of doing it is Trump.
Why is there silence? I was chasing off these geese, and then you pointed at me like I have something to say. I don't know what you guys were talking about for the past 45 seconds.
We're talking about President Trump righting wrongs that are generational that nobody's been willing to step up and do until he gets here. And the one thing that I get on my Facebook and on X is that he's a felon. And that it just cracks me up. He's a felon because somebody on the Democrat side trumps up all these charges, and they do it in New York, who is a Democrat city, and he gets charged with all these things and convicted
with a Democrat prosecutor.
That's right. That was after him in the first place. And the fact is that these charges are nothing. They're all about his real estate deal. And the fact is he didn't do anything wrong.
As opposed to the violent felons who are let off or not prosecuted. Like here in Jackson County, they're literally just not prosecuted because the prosecutor doesn't want to deal with them, or it's racist to prosecute them, or what have you. And the violent criminals that are beating people in the streets, stealing cars, murdering people with impunity, the Democrats don't care about those felons. They care about the guy who put the wrong and a rounding error on a tax form. They care about that, but they don't care about the violent criminals making their cities hellholes across the country. They don't care about that. It's like Stephen Miller says, they are the party of criminals, and they're the party of lawlessness.
What do you have to say about that, sir?
Well, I think it's good that we are redistricting. We totally should be doing that. And kind of as was mentioned before, the fact that there are more Republican seats to pick up than there are Democrats by redistricting right now kind of proves the point of where we've been and where we've gone. So, kind of stinks, but you got to play the game.
I'm glad that we're playing the same Democrat game that they played for years, decades, right? We're actually coming out and doing it, and we're seeing results. Well, we shoot the geese off, and now they're coming back. What's up with this? I think we're once again doing another brisket because the last one was very tasty.
Awesome.
So I brought down 2 more, and that they're hanging close to us and the smoker.
Well, I think that they may be next on the smoker. I go back to the fact that for so long we have always taken the high road. We're better than that. Well, with us being better than that, the Democrats keep coming in and chopping us out at the knees, and we have to start doing the same thing back. Otherwise, we're going to lose our whole party. We're going to lose the whole issue here, and we've got to keep fighting back. And I'm absolutely excited and thrilled that President Trump is getting behind this, and we are doing what we need to do here in Missouri. And I'm excited to push that out and make sure that everybody knows, finally, we've got a backbone.
So,
yeah. I honestly kind of hate the whole redistricting conversation because it's just all garbage. It's all lies. There is no such thing as a fair map. A map will inevitably have to be drawn in a certain way, and the only people that should be making the map are the people's representatives. And so the whole thing is fake, and depending on whether it's a red state or a blue state, you ever see the Veep episode where they're doing the recount, and as soon as one of the Selena Meyer takes a lead, and then the protesters switch sides, and the people who were saying stop the count are now saying count every vote. Like, there's a script, and It's all partisan. It should be partisan, and the time is now to fix the Missouri maps.
So we here, if you guys watch or you happen to go down to the Capitol, every time Republicans pass a quote controversial bill, whatever it is, the Democrats want to dub it controversial because Republicans down at the state house call it that, right? They always threaten. Well, we were in power before you guys. In the 90s, the Republicans gained power back in the Missouri legislature. They always threaten, we're going to gain power again, and we're not going to give you a voice. Well, this is the thing. If we watch how the proceedings go down there, they always get a voice. They just get outnumbered on their votes because that's how Missouri has trended over the past decade. Super Republican, and then especially back, we've been ruby red for a decade now. We stopped being a swing state. But back in the 90s, when the Republicans had a slim majority of both the House and the Senate, and the Democrats got outvoted, it was because that's how Missouri has been trending, not anything else. But they're always threatening, well, if we get back into power, we're going to do X, Y, Z. But this is the thing. I don't think they will get into power anytime soon, not in this next decade, not in the next 2 decades. It's going to be a long time. We are so partisan in our politics right now that we're just seeing this. Missouri is going to stay a ruby red state instead of a bellwether state.
Are you talking about the Democrats? The Democrats are threatening when they get back into power, they were going to anyway.
Absolutely.
Even if we didn't do this, they were going to anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just have to, I almost hate the fact that we have to do this. Like, we can't just come together and try and find a fair way of doing it. But it's like the Democrats have already been doing this for decades. So it's just like, it's almost like you have to do it. And I don't know. I just think there's something. It's just not a good situation where it's like you kind of have to redistrict for power, and it just becomes a game about who can get the most power. I think there's something dangerous about that.
It's crazy to me that nobody remembers that they just did this in 2018. They just used a bunch of foreign money, George Soros money, to put the entire redistricting process under Nicole Galloway in the state auditor's office, and the voters had to come back and say no. They wanted to do it. They wanted to have the people's representatives pick the districts.
So also to your point, Rusty, we got people that built this map that were all part of the consulting class. They were put in there. So this consulting class, they said, well, how can we make more money? Well, we'll make every single district competitive so these folks that are running for office can spend more money and give it to us. So that's what we've seen with some of these maps that came out. They're like, we're going to try to get this as fair 50-50 as possible. And we're going to make sure that XYZ happens. Some of these seats, like Jeff, your 32nd district for your House seat, is very, very Republican. It would have a hard time for a Democrat to even run. But some of these other seats, like we're seeing in Lee Summit, we're seeing Lee Summit trend blue, but that doesn't make Lee Summit a blue city, does it? I think they just drew these maps from these consulting people that wanted some of these Republicans or Democrats on whatever side consulting class they're in to spend more money so they can make more. The consulting class can make more money.
That's an excellent point, Cress. There are approximately 3 major consulting firms in Missouri politics that run the state like a cartel, and they were all 3 of them represented on the commission that did the redistricting, that produced that map that no one wanted, except the consultants and the Jefferson City people. Everybody else wanted the 7-1 map, like Jeff mentioned years ago, and it was the consulting cartel in Jefferson City that produced the 6-2 map, and like Cress said, so that they could get more juice out of more quote unquote competitive races. But But the point I wanted to make is the boomer conservative retort is always, well, if they get back in power, they're going to use this this power that you've gained against you. That if you ever exercise your mandate, if you ever exercise any power that you get, that as soon as the Democrats get back in control, they're going to use it against you. And that is such brain dead thinking, because every time the Democrats are in power, it doesn't matter where it is, dog catcher or president, they always go above and beyond their power and above and beyond their mandate. They always abuse their power.
The abuse of power.
And they always
Absolutely.
attack and abuse their political opponents. They try to jail them. They trump up their charges. They are corrupt. It doesn't matter if they're in or out of power. The Democrat, there's no scenario where you treat them nicely and then when they get back in power, they treat you nicely. That's not how this works. It's never, ever how this has worked.
That's the problem we have right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, these people have no value system beyond power.
Before we move on to the next subject, I will just going back to what you said, Chris. When we're down at the Capitol, we always give them time to talk. And in my opinion, give them way too much time to talk, to debate things. Because when they were in power, I remember a story of a guy who just wanted to introduce somebody on the floor that came in to visit the Capitol, and it was one of his constituents. They would not even call on this guy. So he got up on his desk and started waving his arms to try to get the attention.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but that actually happened. They still didn't call on him.
So
That's the Democrats.
Exactly. In your experience, and anyone here has experienced, have the Democrats ever acted with grace when they're in charge toward their political opponents?
No.
Have they ever been anything but sore winners every time they win?
Ouch. Sore
Well,
winners.
I'll just say to your point, Jeff, what you were saying earlier. It's like the Republicans have always lost very nobly, and the Democrats have played to win. And it feels like that's changing, where the Republicans are under Trump. They're playing to win. They're trying to.
That's what
trying
we
to
need to be doing.
That's
we need
why-
to be representing the people that we're here to represent. And we are a red state. We need to take that on and be a red state.
Yep.
Represent our people.
I'm tired of being a beautiful loser.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're ready to talk about IP reform. The governor has signed the bill, or no, you guys are going to special session, excuse me, to talk about IP reform, which is about time. This initiative petition process has been a pain for ever since I've been paying attention to this, a very long time. The Democrats fly in because they can't get anything passed in the legislature because common sense says what they're trying to do is not going to work. So they get huge out-of-state money donors to put in.
Out of the country donors until this year, we finally banned it.
Well, to that point, yeah, to fund initiative petition reform. And that's what we see with the abortion stuff. That's what we see with marijuana. And, I mean, the list goes on from here. But, yeah, Rusty over here, he knows a lot about this IP reform. If you want to talk about this real quick.
Yeah, well, so that's the number one thing that's on the call. Actually, I haven't seen the official one. I saw the early calls going out, but last session, Missouri passed a ban on foreign funding of ballot measure campaigns. Basically, that if you're a foreign national or foreign corporation, you can't give to candidates already, but the federal government doesn't actually have jurisdiction of state ballot measure campaigns. So we had to take action in Missouri and ban that. That's in statute now. This IP reform would put it in the Constitution, which we absolutely need to do and to sit on those protections. Again, assuming the call is just the same as the one that I saw, this would require that not only constitutional amendments pass a majority statewide, but a majority in each of the 8 congressional districts, which would be a great win. And this goes to say that the things that are in our Constitution are so important that people from every area of the state should be able to agree on them, as opposed to just people in St. Louis and Kansas City. I think there's also some fraud provisions in there. What else, Dakota? I can't remember. But we need to fix the IP. It's a disaster. All of these people who say, oh, we're overturning the will of the people. You mean the representatives who the people voted for? Was that a different vote?
Well, and some background on what IP means, because if you're not in the weeds, you might not. IP could mean anything to you, like intellectual property. IP means initiative petition, and this is a holdover from the progressive era. There were a lot of progressive era reforms, like primary elections and initiative petitions and referendums and recalls. These were all electoral changes during the progressive era that was trying to take power from political party machines like Tammany Hall and try to put them more back into the people's hands. But today, that initiative petition process is basically hijacked by progressives across the country, and also foreign progressives, like Andy mentioned, from foreign countries. Literally, we're putting money into our elections in Missouri through the initiative petition process to change our Constitution. And so the reform is meant to shore up that process so that we're not getting foreign influence, we're not getting money from out of the state, billions and billions of dollars poured into our state to change our Constitution, which really is against the will of the people, because this is a red state. Progressives have no other recourse except to hijack the initiative petition like a cordyceps parasite, and manipulate our Constitution that way. And so this initiative petition reform, this IP reform, is meant to stop that and make it more solid and make it more in line with the will of the people.
If you think about this, when you have something on the ballot, how much does it get vetted? How do you get your information on this petition that people are putting out there? That comes from the people that are outside the state, right? So here we are. It takes me, 7 years to try to get a property tax bill passed?
Right.
And every year we start all over with it. If it doesn't pass, you got to start from scratch again. And every year it gets re-vetted by new people, new freshmen, and it's a good thing. I'm not complaining about it, because you get lots of eyes on it. It first goes through a committee in the House. Then it goes through a secondary committee in the House. Then it goes to the floor in the House. If it passes, then it goes to the Senate, and we go through the whole exercise again. It goes through a committee. It goes through a secondary committee. Then it goes to the Senate floor. So it's vetted by both Republicans and Democrats. And these initiative petitions do not get vetted. All you know about that initiative petition is what those outside investors want you to know through their commercials. And they only tell you what they want you to hear. You don't get the good and the bad. So you're not making a decision on the whole issue. You're only making it on what they want you to hear.
And to your point, the ballot language, as it's written, is usually written by East Coast attorneys or D.C. Beltway attorneys, and everybody that I've ever met complains about the ballot language. They don't understand it, they don't know what they're voting on, and it actually frustrates them, and they don't appreciate it. Most people do not appreciate these initiative petitions because they don't have time to vet it. They've got lives, they've got kids, they've got jobs. They don't have time to go into the weeds and do the research and read this legalistic language written by Beltway lawyers that doesn't make sense to them.
That's 100% true.
And oftentimes the language is also deceptive. It's written in a deceptive manner. Do you like ponies and rainbows? Do you want to vote $1 million for yourself? And actually, it's, we're going to seize all your assets and I don't know, put you in camps. Like that's how the language is written.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the problem with Clean Missouri.
Oh, true.
And why they had to come back and fix it was because people thought that they were voting for a ban on lobbyist gifts, and they were actually voting to give all of the redistricting power to the only statewide elected Democrat. Yes, part of the problem absolutely is the ballot language. Often this is stuff that's written by liberal judges who were picked by, the Bar Association and the disastrous Missouri Plan. So one of the things that would be included in the IP reform bill that would, assuming it passes the House and the Senate, would go on the ballot, would be a requirement to include the entire text of the petition when circulating and collecting signatures. So it would at least have to be there, and people would have to be able to see it if they wanted it.
So yeah, at the very least, what they can do is they can make this process more transparent. And another problem is, depending on who the Secretary of State is.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to
Yeah.
bring up. So our last Secretary of State, Jay Ashcroft, he was really good at writing the ballot language to not confuse people. I don't know about Denny Hoskins, how he is.
Denny's doing great. And one of the big wins that the House and the Senate had last year was giving him more power over the process to write ballot language. Denny has been writing clear language. I'm thinking specifically of the two petitions that are attacking the school choice program.
Good.
He's doing a good job so far. Hopefully they make it through the courts. Courts are a huge problem that need to be addressed.
So
that's part of the reason Denny went there.
You brought up school choice. Is that something that's going to be hopefully seen here in the next future?
Well, so we currently have a pretty robust school choice program in Missouri. There's, of course, we want to expand it. We want to get to a place where we're in universal school choice, like some of the states that border Missouri, Iowa, Arkansas. Right now, so the legislature and Governor Kehoe put $50 million worth of general revenue into the school choice program. So the kids who are stuck in these failing schools, inner city kids, disabled kids, can have an opportunity, and their parents can choose a school that works for their family. So the action right now is that the teachers union has sued to take away all of these scholarships from disabled and inner city kids.
I mean, of course, it's the teachers unions,
yeah,
right?
Well, so they're just mad that the scholarship money that's given can go to a school that is not controlled by the unions. So there is currently a court fight. There have been 2 different initiative petitions filed attacking the school choice program. Hopefully those will go down, but they're currently fighting a court battle actually about ballot language.
You want to close? We're going to close up, guys. We're right at about an hour, right?
We are at 33 minutes, Coleman.
33 minutes?
33 minutes.
Well, time flies.
When you're having fun with the geese.
Yeah.
So, real quick, I do want to bring up, though, the talking point against school choice is what I've been hearing recently. They're going to turn this into like the college thing where they're competing for kids to play sports at their school to make them a better sports school. Do you think that's something that would be a possibility, or do you think that these schools should be competing for education only?
Well, listen, guys, if schools are competing for that, you've got schools like where I'm from, Grain Valley, who have put millions of dollars into their sports programs, and that's before any school choice issues. So what do you think they're doing? What do you think they're doing? They're competing to try to get kids to come there in the sports area. All of the schools in the metropolitan area are making all kinds of money because of our property taxes, which need to be addressed, and hopefully they will be soon. Until we get that stuff under control, they're going to continue to do these things. And I don't think that schools are going to be competing more so than what they already are for their sports programs. I do think that some of these schools are competing with the things that they offer within the school district, the debate teams, oh my gosh, Green Valley has this amazing overpriced home ec area. What do you call it? The cooking. What do you call those? Culinary classes. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'd call it home ec also.
It is amazing. It will be just like a college class, and that's what's happening. You're getting these schools that are trying to compete with the colleges. They're college campuses anymore. That's what you got in high school.
And you know what? Regardless of whether they're competing for sports or home ec or culinary, the point is that the control needs to be in the parents' hands. Right now, it's the teachers' unions are fighting for control over children.
Right.
With parents, they're fighting. Their main enemy is the parents.
They're fighting against the parents.
So you have a corrupt institution like the teachers' unions that want control over other people's children for 9 hours out of the day. That's the only issue that matters right now.
You know what this sound is?
No.
That is the brisket being done.
Get that brisket. No, the only issue that matters is, do you as a parent have a right and a duty to have a say in what goes on with your kids for 9 hours out of the day, 5 days a week? That's the only issue that matters. Nothing that the teachers' unions bring up or care about matters, other than, do parents who birth these children, do they have a right to have a say in what goes on with their kids?
You bring that up, that these kids are 9 hours out of the day at school. They're at school more than they're at home during the school day. Why? This has always bugged me. This has always bugged me. Why are we sending our kids to school for 8 to 9 hours a day, and they're still coming home with homework? Why can we not get that completed in the 8 hours that we're there? Why are we sending kids home with homework when we're barely seeing our kids for the next 3 hours until they have to go to bed and do it all over again the next day? Everything should be completed within the school day. We shouldn't be having more homework come home. We shouldn't be having more learning outside of the school happen.
Well, I will say that the schools in my district are starting to get what's going on. I just had a discussion with Oak Grove this past week. Met with the school superintendent, who is doing an awesome job, I think. We talked about Trump and getting rid of the national education side of things, and
thank God. I've been saying that since 2018.
Well, if you look at it, you go back when Carter put it in place back in '79, I believe it was, and where we were in the world rankings, which was way higher than what we are now, and it has done nothing but go downhill since.
And let me point this out too. Jeff is the only one that was alive in '79 sitting at this table.
Yeah.
And I truly was.
Sorry.
So here's the thing. But she was really kind of glad about that. She kind of hopes that'll happen, because they know that those funds and control will come back to her here locally, and they will be able to hopefully teach again and not go through all these ridiculous reports that they have to do on a continuous basis, because teachers today do reporting about half the day, and the rest of the day is the teaching part. How do you teach a kid? You don't. That's the problem.
Jeff's also the only one that's actually served on a school board.
I've done that as well.
You have served on the school board.
12 years. 12 years. Yeah.
So Jeff might know a thing or two. And the other thing I kind of wanted to bring up was the model of education that we have, this one-size-fits-all model where we send our kids to school 9 hours out of the day.
And how well has that been working?
It's not necessary. There's nothing saying that 9 hours are necessary to educate a kid. Maybe a kid only needs 4 hours, right? I think they've done a study that says that you're only really productive for 90 minutes at a stretch. After 90 minutes, your productivity basically plummets.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's the point I was going to get to also, is we're sending these kids to school for these 8 hours. We're seeing homeschool kids being taught for half the time for 4 hours of the day. We had a mutual friend that they still homeschool their kids, and he goes, we spend 3 hours on schoolwork, and it gets completed, it's done, and the rest of their day is free.
And these kids are usually, in my experience, I know that there's some sort of like weird stereotype about homeschool kids, which I think is ridiculous. The kids that I've met that have been homeschooled have been extremely smart,
very intelligent,
and well-adjusted.
Absolutely.
Much more so than the yahoos like me that went to public school.
You are a Yahoo, aren't you?
Yeah, man.
You just stole my yeah, man.
We kind of slipped out of the IP into education, but it is an important piece that we need to talk about at some point. The IP reform, I think, will hopefully get done while we're down at the Capitol, and we're looking. I just got the schedule for what's going to happen down at the Capitol. It looks like we've got technical sessions almost all week. This next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then Sunday we'll have another technical session, and then Monday we actually go into session. So I'm looking forward to getting down there and having these discussions. It's going to be an interesting time, especially in the Senate, when they start talking about IP reform and also the redistricting, because the Democrats are going to try to stand up and filibuster that whole time. I was kind of hoping that maybe they would do similar things to what Texas did, and they would fly to Illinois. Because unfortunately for them, we don't have the same type of situation that Texas did. We could actually do this without them being there. So we could only hope that they would fly to Illinois.
Well, so I went to the liberal meeting, the emergency redistricting very special sessions coming up, and they don't have a plan. They will be, I think, tomorrow on the plaza in Kansas City and somewhere protesting in St. Louis, and then on September 10th they'll be in the Capitol, but that's all they've got. That's all they're doing. They're not fleeing the state. That would be fun. I think, honestly, I think the IP wouldn't have been a part of the call if they didn't have enough for a PQ, so...
Yeah, they have to PQ because there was no way that the Democrats would let that fly.
PQ means previous question. It's a procedural thing in the legislature.
How does that work, Dakota?
Well, you call the previous question, and then you have to vote immediately on whether or not to vote on the question. So the thing is, in the Senate of our state at least, we have a filibuster, and so the Democrats could infinitely filibuster initiative petition reform, and it would get ridiculous, and it has been ridiculous in the past. They have abused the filibuster. So the procedural trick that any party would use, Democrat or Republican, is PQ, which is calling the previous question. So the previous question would be, are we going to vote to pass yay or nay IP reform? So you vote on whether or not to stop debate and stop discussion and just vote on the thing. And if you have a 51% majority, then forcing a vote means that you automatically by default win the vote.
Yeah, which is like a normal part of Robert's Rules in every copy of Robert's Rules that's ever been published, right? So this is not a controversial or beyond the pale type of move.
No, and they used to do it to us. It's just a situation where it shuts down some of the nonsense on either side. The Republicans have filibustered as well, and it just shuts things down, that things like reading a book or multiple books or lots of books, which happens, and that's how they filibuster many, many times on both sides. It's not one side or the other. I'm not blaming the Democrats on this. They're doing whatever they can to try to stop something that they don't want to have happen. The Republicans do the same thing. So, but that's what the previous question does, the so-called PQ. The House side does it a little differently. we don't have filibusters on the House side, so we can pretty much previous question just about anything, anytime. And we do it often when it gets to be too long of a debate. The same thing on the Senate side, other than the fact that they have to actually have a committed signed document saying that they are going to agree to vote for the previous question. And so there are times when they don't do a previous question because they don't have enough votes from the senators on whatever side they're on, whether it's, in this case, the Republican side. They would have to have enough senators sign the previous question form to say that they will go ahead and vote for a previous question.
So how do they filibuster?
Somebody gets up on the floor and gets called.
And they can't PQ during a filibuster?
There's procedural things, and I'm not a senator, so I don't know all the details on it.
Fair enough.
There are procedural things that they could stop the debate, and actually they shut down the floor at that time, and then they come back at another time and actually do the PQ. So, again, it is something that you're hearing all the cicadas, aren't you? It's something that they have their own procedures on how to do it. And again, because I'm not over there, I don't know exactly how that all works procedurally. But I do know before they decide to PQ, they have to have those enough senators to sign that PQ form in order for that to move forward.
That's interesting. Did you guys talk about the governor just signing the temp tag law? How's this going to work?
Like it's supposed to work, like it was supposed to have been done already.
Well, expand on that. What is this temp tag law?
Just the fact that if you're expired and you've gone beyond the time that was allotted for that temp tag, the police will pull you over and actually give you a ticket for it.
Didn't already do that?
No.
They're not allowed to. In Kansas City, at least.
The police are kind of directed to not do anything about it. So I actually didn't know about this. I didn't know that the governor signed an official... I didn't know he had to do that. I thought it was already a law, but...
So this is the thing. They have to pay their taxes at the time of purchase, which I guess is convenient, but they also wrap it up inside of your loan, which can get pretty pricey for people that are just trying to get a vehicle to drive to work, and they have to get a loan for it. So now they're looking at more of a price increase on their monthly bill for their car note. I mean, that's how I see it. I don't mind the 30 days because it gives you a chance to gather your money to pay for that car, pay for the taxes on that car. But now it's due at the time of signing.
I'm very sympathetic to the plight of your current car buyer, used or new, because first of all, the car market is extraordinarily overpriced. And this gets into the economic stuff, but car dealerships don't make money on selling cars. They make money on financing. They make money on selling loans to car buyers. So the whole market for cars is extraordinarily inflated. It's very hard for a lot of people to buy cars, especially used cars. The used car market recently has experienced a really sharp, I guess, inflationary period, and it's really difficult to buy a car, pay the sales tax, get the registration and licensing done all at the same time when your interest rate is really high. The car itself is way too expensive for what it is. So I get it to a point. Like, yeah, the car market right now is absurd anyway, regardless. On top of all the government regulations for licensing and registration and sales tax and property tax and blah, 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 personal property tax and all that stuff. That being said, okay, I am very sympathetic. That being said, there is an obvious group of people who fully intend to never register their car and never pay their sales tax and never pay property tax, and they kind of like they almost brag about it's almost like a point of pride for them to like never register their car and just drive on temp tags forever.
Well, the thing is, you take it back to being a Republican, right? And the unfortunate part is that we gotta take the personal responsibility, right, to make sure we're buying what's in our budget. And that sometimes is hard. I get it, but the fact is that if we're not able to pay for that, that sales tax, then maybe we shouldn't be getting that car, right?
Now that under normal circumstances, Jeff, I would totally agree with you. But
sometimes people have no choice.
Well, it's not even that. It's the past 4 years under Biden, the rampant inflation, the inflation of everything, bread, milk, but asset inflation. They printed a ton of money and expanded the credit supply and flooded the market with all this new credit, which made asset prices and loans and interest rates go way up. And so we're not living under normal circumstances. I totally agree with personal responsibility. I got my car registered. I got my taxes paid. I did everything I was supposed to do. And, it darn near killed me, but I did it because that's what I'm supposed to do. It's my responsibility. And yes, there are people who make it's their point of pride to not do the right thing. I get that. But at the same time, things are ridiculous right now in the economy. Everything. Asset prices are way inflated. The stock market's way inflated. Real estate's way inflated. And used cars are way inflated.
That piece I don't disagree with. But there are opportunities, I think, for things that we might not really want, but it gets the job done. Housing, whole different story. Because housing now, you're talking about rent. I think probably the average rent is $1,000 or more. That's ridiculous. That's a house payment. And for somebody to be able to buy a house today, that is just way out of reach for many, many people. And I don't know what you're supposed to do about that piece.
Yeah. Well, and there's no one thing, right? That's a really big problem. That's a big picture problem. And that's one of the things on President Trump's plate, for sure. But you can't deny that, your children, grandchildren, what have you, are struggling right now. They have no hope currently of buying a house. In fact, the median age for the first-time home buyer is approaching 40 years old. That's the first-time home buyer. The median first-time home buyer is approaching 40 years old.
Which is crazy because I think I was 23 when we purchased our house.
It's insane how bad things have gotten. And if you expect young people to get married, form families, have babies, and get their piece of American soil in the form of a house, and that's what we should believe in as conservatives, right? Everybody should have a stake in this country, and part of that is having a house, having a piece of property, not being a nation of renters. Then you need to address somehow the fact that the median home buyer is approaching 40 years old, and that 80% of all the wealth and assets are owned by baby boomers who are approaching 80.
How old are you, Greg?
42.
Greg and I are the same age.
Hey, speaking of
By
same
the way,
age,
yeah.
Hey, guess what today or yesterday was?
Happy birthday, Cress.
Happy birthday,
buddy.
Oh, thanks, guys. That's so sweet.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cress. Happy birthday to you.
Well, look at that.
And many more.
Oh, we got a many more in there.
Hey, how about that? Who
Thanks,
was that?
Jeff.
Who was singing? Dude, they need a voice
That
lesson.
wasn't that bad. I appreciate that.
They
Thank
actually
you,
need a
guys.
voice lesson. Happy birthday, Bubba.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I was just told by somebody much older than me that every new birthday that you have, every year that you get a little older,
It's closer to death.
is an achievement.
Oh,
No, not yeah, the opposite.
I mean that too.
It's a great thing to be celebrated because not everybody makes it to your age. For whatever reason, that another year that you can be on this earth and do what you do is a gift, and it's something to celebrate.
Well, that's very sweet. Thank you, Dakota. I do feel very blessed being 42 years old, having a great wife and 3 kids.
Also, you're bold.
Wow.
I was trying to make this really sentimental. Then you're
just going to say how great the kids are.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, I am bald. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That being said, we're talking about people being bald. Jeff, you want to wrap this up?
I still have hair. It's just back further. That's all. Hey guys, again, as always, I so much appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate your support. I think we have a lot of good things that we're moving forward with. I'm looking forward to the future. Who knows what this future brings? I term out next year. Next year is my last year of 8 years as a state representative, and I am very honored and proud that I have represented the 32nd district that whole time. I much appreciate all the folks that supported me, and especially this group around the table right now. And I look forward to the challenges and what the future brings. And thank you very much for all the people that have listened to this podcast. And Chris, don't forget to tell them to pound that button.
Well, yeah, hit the like and subscribe button. Jeff, what's the future hold for you?
I'm not sure yet. There's some opportunities that we're looking at. I guess we're redistricting. That could be an opportunity.
Well, I know that every politician always tries to find some other opportunity. We see this a lot at the state legislature. We're trying to wrap up. I'm bringing up another subject. I'm so sorry. We see this a lot at the state legislature, that the governor will appoint a state house member or a senator in there. That could be a possibility that you're looking at. There's a lot of things happening right now that, Jeff, you're looking at. But anyway, we don't know what the future holds for you yet.
But there's lots of exciting options, and we're trying to study them and see what's available, and look forward to moving forward. Just want people to know how much we appreciate being there for them.
Absolutely.
And representing them. And as far as people that listen to the podcast, please let us know what interests you and what you want us to talk about in our future podcasts, because we're going to continue to do them. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And take us out, Chris.
Oh, I think you did great, Jeff. Guys, thanks for listening. We will be posting this, and if you want some further information, go ahead and email Jeff. You have all of his contact info. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.